Hello world, this is Edward Bevilacqua. Today is Monday, December 17, 2018, here in Las Vegas, one of the world's 7 great cities. Supposedly it might rain today. The sky is gray, but it's the week before Christmas. So I think moods are high, and so we've got a lot to do this week. This is week number 3 of our 4-week program. I want to again acknowledge our students in Reno, our students in Las Vegas, Casa Grande, Department of Corrections, and of course, WellCare, our partner here in Las Vegas with the other students. So this is week 3, outside our school-sized kingdom. Last week was inside our school-sized kingdom. The week before was orientation, overview of our program. Next week is employment planning workshop. And so this is actually the second video of week 3. Last month we did a week 3 video on November 12th called Novum-U TED Talk, David Logan, 11/12. And I listened to it again this morning. It was actually pretty good. So I'm not going to redo that whole thing. I'm going to pick up where that left off and add a couple more things. So my suggestion is to watch that and have it on 1.5 speed. It'll be easy for you to follow at 1.5 speed. I think regular speed is a little bit too slow. Also, so I'm going to talk about David Logan's talk, and I'm going to include some notes we have on Jordan Peterson's, something he just posted last week on Big Think, which has to do with leadership. And that's fundamentally what we're focused on now. So without going over what we said in last month's one and what we say in the class this week, we just want to leave it with, we focus on inside our school-sized kingdom and then outside our school-sized kingdom. And the next week, we focus on getting jobs, foundational jobs primarily. So inside our school-sized kingdom, the questions we're trying to answer are, who am I and why do I behave the way I do? And as to who am I, we look at the brain. We look inside of the skull. That's our skull-sized kingdom. We look inside of that and focus on neurons. We take it down a layer, look at dendrites, take that down a layer, look at synapses, take that down a layer, look at vesicles, take that down into what they do, which is neurotransmitters. And then we focus on 7 neurotransmitters. We focus on our connectome, the connections, all of our neurons and the connections, what is in them, our lived past, our anticipated future, our imagination, our ability to simulate, etc. And that makes us up who we are. And how do we know that? Well, by applying falsification. We can see that if we damage our brain, those things go away. So I must be made of that which is contained in my connectome. That's who I am. Why do I behave the way I do? Well, I behave the way I do because my brain releases neurotransmitters. My brain releases neurotransmitters based upon my beliefs. So if I have a belief that liver and onion flavored ice cream tastes good, I will release probably dopamine. If I have a belief that liver and onion flavored ice cream tastes bad, then I will probably release cortisol. And if I'm forced to eat it or somebody attempts to force me to eat it, I could resist. And that's all because of a belief, the beliefs I have, not objective realities. There's no objective reality attached to liver and onion flavored ice cream. It's all subjective. And that kind of bleeds into a Yuval Harari type of thing of why do humans control the planet? Well, we control the planet because we alone can cooperate flexibly in large numbers. And how do we do that? Well, we do that by creating stories, fictional stories that we believe. And if we believe the fictional stories, then we can cooperate flexibly in large numbers. And why are we able to create fictional stories? Well, we have imagination. Why do we have imagination? Well, it appears that it's just simply because we have more neurons than any other living creature. So So that's last week. Who am I? Why do I behave the way I do? I am my connectome, and I behave the way I do because of beliefs I have that trigger the release of neurotransmitters. And we found out that I can simply change my beliefs. If I change my beliefs, I change the release of neurotransmitters. The release of neurotransmitters makes me feel. My feelings affect my behavior, and my behavior affects the outcome. And then the outcome tends to reinforce my beliefs. So we learn we can get that by understanding this and applying this. We can now have more control of our emotions, and thus our feelings, thus our behavior, and thus our outcome. We also learn that my brain works the same way your brain works. So if I know how my brain works, I know how your brain works. And if I know what your beliefs are, then I can trigger the release of neurotransmitters, which causes you to feel, which affects your behavior, and that will affect the outcome. So I have the ability to do that. Why would I do it? Well, I would do it because I want to become successful. And for our purposes, success equals money plus meaning and purpose, where money simply is the ability to experience more, and meaning and purpose is service to other people. So I'm going fast because we've gone through this many times. This is sort of review, reinforcement. So money and purpose, service to others, the way to do that is sacrifice. And the easy sacrifice to make is to spend time with other people with no expectation of return, of anything in return. That will release oxytocin, which is the best neurotransmitter of all. How do we become successful? How do we have money plus meaning and purpose? Well, we need other people. And we call that power. Power is getting other people to do what we want. So if we're good at getting other people to do what we want them to do the right things. We apply the categorical imperative. We get them to do the right things, and we will end up having success. We'll have money plus meaning and purpose. So we'll live a useful life. How do we get power? How do we get people to do what we want? Well, we have it broken down to a simple, elegant 3-step or 3-part formula, which is to bond, to add value, and then to ask. And so by bonding, we mean if you're in an fMRI machine, I'm in an fMRI machine, we're looking at our brain waves, we're looking at our neural activity, they look very similar. That's what we mean by bonding. What do we mean by adding value? Well, the person says, wow, that was worth my time. The one thing we can't get back, according to Simon Sinek and other people. So I provide value to you where you find it worth your time to spend time with me, or to do what I ask you, or do what I want, and or give you information that you can use in the future, something that is of value. And then ask is simply to ask people to do things. And if, by definition, if you ask somebody to do something and they do it, you have power. Our equation is sort of simple. The equation is elegant, and the bonding plus the adding value should be greater than the ask. Don't ask for anything that's greater than the bonding plus the adding value. Nolan Bushnell has a simple thing of the bonding plus adding value should be worth 115%, and the ask should be 85%. So ask for less than you give. And if we apply a Stoic approach to that, if I do that, you will always reciprocate. If I give you more than you give me, you will always want to give me things. You'll always, no matter what I give you, if you give me something and you know that I'm going to reciprocate, that's going to tend to get you to want to give me more stuff. And if my reciprocation is greater than what you gave me, pretty soon you're going to get that no matter what you give me, I will always give you more in return. And that goes for good versus bad. Okay, but this week it's outside our skull size kingdom. So now we're focused on how do I get people to do what I want? And this week our TED Talk, today we are looking at David Logan's TED Talk, his TEDx talk. David Logan is in communication with the school. He's been very gracious and offered to help and provide advice and input. And I've reached out to him a couple times. So David Logan's thing is very simple. People form tribes. We always have, we always will. Just like birds fly and fish swim, people form tribes. We group up with other people. we might think we're individuals, but when we watch what we do, we form tribes, we form groups of people. And David Logan, over the past probably 20 years now, has come to the conclusion that tribes, roughly speaking, there's 5 stages of tribes, 1 through 5, 1 being the lowest. Life sucks. And then up 1 layer to not the idea that life sucks, it's just my life that sucks, which is where our students are. That's the low-hanging fruit for our students. My life sucks, struggling. Okay, stage 3 is, now I'm great and you're not. I'm great, you're not. This is what advertisers look for on TV. People who are employed, they are proud, they some level of pride, some level of ego-driven, keeping up with the Joneses. So if you think about car commercials, it's always fundamentally, if you want to be a player, you need to have this car or this truck. So most people, working people, are at stage 3, and I would say the system is designed to get people to stage 3, because those are the people who feel they need to buy things. That's what television advertising is all about. It's appealing to those people. So we tend to want to reinforce the idea that you're great, other people are not. And that creates or promotes competition amongst other people and keeping up with the Joneses. Stage 4 is we're great. So that means people have to drop their individual ego and adopt a collective culture and try to promote that culture forward. So those are people that are proud to work at companies, and David Logan talks about Zappos as one of them, where there is a company culture, and to fit in, to survive and thrive in that company culture, you have to fit in, and there you have to be just a little bit weird. And stage 5 is life is great, which would kind of be a collection of all the people who think we're great coming together and doing something together that affects on a large scale. So in our class, we don't do stage 1, we don't do stage 5. We don't focus on those. Those are people who either don't need help or you can't help. We focus really on stage 2 people, and we try to get our stage 2 people, move them to stage 3. And that's going to be the fundamental thrust of this talk, is how do you move people from stage 2 to stage 3, from my life sucks to I'm great and you're not. And the analogy that we would use is working in a 7-Eleven store. Do that as a thought experiment. So imagine that 4 or 5 people go to work in a 7-Eleven store. Why? Because they have to, not because they want to. They need money to pay their bills. They need some kind of meaning and purpose. Maybe they're somewhat depressed, and they watched a Jordan Peterson talk where he says, one of the things is just get out and not be useless, go do something, have a job, have a routine. So anyway, 5 people go to work show up one day, and they all are employed to work at a 7-Eleven. And they all start as my life sucks. I really don't want to be here, but I kind of don't have a choice. And working at 7-Eleven isn't really anything I'm proud about, but I've got to do it. So my life sucks. The manager has to get these people from stage 2 to stage 3, from my life sucks to I'm great and you're not. And it's really not hard to do that if you do it the right way, just like most things in life. There's a lot of ways to do things wrong. There's a few ways to do things right. And so if you learn to do it right, it's not really that hard, and it's very predictable. And the first step is you got to know where you want to go. And we want to go from moving people from stage 2 to stage 3. And it's really not by motivation. It's not by telling them things. When I ask this question in class, how do you move people from stage 2 to stage 3? It's kind of like, well, you just motivate them. Tell them they're doing a great job. You give them incentives. Well, not really. Not really. Incentives are very dangerous because people get focused on the incentive, and that doesn't lead towards meaning and purpose in your life, because you get the incentive, and after a while, hedonic adaptation kicks in, and the incentive doesn't work any longer. So something a little bit different than that, meaning and purpose. So how do you get people to move from stage 2 to stage 3? Well, it's very simple. You give them each a separate job, and you tell them that that is their job, and that's all they have to do, and they need to do it perfectly. So one person comes in, Sally, and you say, okay, Sally, I need you to be in charge of the coolers. They have to be perfect. And then if we go to the Jordan Peterson big think talk, you'd say, here's what's in it for me, here's what's in it for you, and here's how us working together, we're gonna be both benefit. So Sally, I need you to take care of the coolers. They need to be stocked. The glass needs to be clean. The stickers need to be there. Why? Well, because in Las Vegas, most of the people, 90% of the people, go get a cold drink, get something out of the cooler. So that's your job. That's all you need to do. I don't want you to do anything else. Just do that. So Sally does that. And after a couple of weeks, Sally has everything dialed in the way she wants. And so if somebody else comes along and says, hey, can I help you? Sally will say, no, just stay in your lane. No, I got this. You just do your thing. I got this. And why is Sally saying that? Well, because she's at stage 3 where I'm great and you're not. You can't do this job as well as I can. And then Barry is I say to Barry, okay, Barry, I need you just to do the gas pumps. That's all you need to do. Keep it clean out there, keep the garbage cans empty, the gas handles clean, the fluid, the soap stuff. I'll make sure you have squeegees and paper towels. You just need to do that. Be out there, greet people pleasantly, because when people come in that need gas, they want to have a nice experience. And if they do, they're going to come inside the store and buy something. So that's all we need you to do, Barry. Just do that, okay? And because I'm acknowledging something, a task for Barry, instead of just being a guy working at 7-Eleven. Now he's the gas station. He's the gas pump guy. He's got a task. He's got purpose. And Barry's going to go do that job, and he's going to do it right. And I'm going to make sure he does it right. And then we'll get to a stage where Barry doesn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody out there because they're just going to screw it up because he has it dialed in. And then I have Glenn is the cash register guy. And Glenn is doing the cash register. And I say, Glenn, I need you to do this because this is the main point of contact we have with people here. When people go get gas, they're on their own. People are picking out drinks, they're doing it on their own. When they're walking around the store, they're doing it on their own. But this is our chance to leave a good, favorable impression on our customers. So I need you to do it. And I need you to be fast and efficient and pleasant with people. Acknowledge their presence, make them know that we appreciate them being there, and sincerely wish them to have a happy day, have a good day. And then they'll come back and they'll remember you and they'll talk to other people about it. And the same thing will happen with Glenn. Once he's got it dialed in, once he feels comfortable with what he's doing, once he's sort of mastered the domain of being the cash register guy, then he's not going to want anybody else on the cash registers. He's not going to want anybody to come up and say, hey, there's a line. Let me help you. No, I got this. No, I insist. Let me help. No. And he'll even, argue. Stay the heck out of my lane. You just go do your thing. And we break it down through the jobs in the store. And after about 2 weeks, when everybody has their thing dialed in, everybody becomes very territorial. And now we have everybody, we've done it. Everybody's now at stage 3. Everybody's gone from stage 2 to stage 3 because they know how to do their job and they don't want anybody else to do their job. I'm great, you're not. You can't do this as well as I can. I have now become the expert in stocking and cleaning the coolers or the gas pumps or the cash register or the restrooms or whatever it is. That's my job and I do it well. Okay, cool. So now, how do we go from stage 3 to stage 4? Because stage 3, I'm great, you're not, only takes you so far. And then people become territorial and they become possessive and they become critical of other people. And then they have a tendency to start tearing the other people down in order to make themselves feel good. So now we got to get people to go from stage 3 to stage 4. And how do we do that? Well, once again, not per David Logan, not really that hard if you know what you're doing. And our objective is to get people to drop their personal beliefs and adopt greater beliefs, culture of our business or whatever it is, our organization. Well, how do we do that? Well, one simple way to do it is for the manager one day to come in and say, okay, guys, I was talking to the boss this morning, and the boss told me that we have a chance to be one of the best 7-Elevens in Las Vegas. We went from a really lousy store to here's where we are now, and we have a chance to be one of the best stores here. All we have to do is just keep doing what we're doing, but a little bit better. Now what's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is people are going to say, let's start working together. Let's work as a team now. So if you can't cover your spot and you need help, you ask me, tell me you need help. I'll be there to help you. And we start cross-training. Because if you want to have a break, instead of having an attitude of, well, I'm going to take a break, and while I'm gone, things are going to get run down in the coolers a little bit, but not so bad, and I'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes or my half an hour, whatever it is, or I'll be back tomorrow, whatever it is, I can fix it. Now we're going to go to a thing of, now the coolers are always going to be good, because if I'm on a break, Glenn is going to cover for me. Or Barry's going to cover for me. Somebody's going to cover for me if I'm on a break. And I'm going to cover for them when they're on a break. And if the store gets too crowded, I'll help out. I'll do whatever I can, because we want our customers to be happy. And that's how you go from stage 3 to stage 4. Is you create a purpose that's greater than the individual needs. So to recap regarding David Logan's point is, number one, people form tribes. Always have, always will. So when I step outside of my school-sized kingdom, I notice there's a whole bunch of other people out there who think the world revolves around them. Boy, that's weird, because I know it revolves around me, but they think it revolves around them. But when I watch these curious people who think the world revolves around them, I actually notice that they form groups. They're not individuals out there. They join a group. And then I notice that these groups occupy 5 stages. But for right now, I get, people think the world revolves around them, but they actually join groups. Okay, so if I want to be successful and I need other people to do it, I need power to do that. Well, instead of forming my own tribe, instead of getting people to do what I want by recruiting them, I could join a tribe and then, as David Logan says, nudge it forward. So if you want power, one way to do it, the David Logan way, is join a tribe, nudge it forward. And by nudging it forward, sort of by definition, nudging implies that you're getting people to do what you want them to do, and that is power, once again. So we just have to have them directed towards our personal success. And our personal success would also be good for the organization, because if it's money plus meaning and purpose, we're not doing anything to manipulate people. We're not using people as a means to our own personal end. So that's it for David Logan. Now tomorrow we're going to get, okay, great, I got it. If I want power, if I want other people to do what I want them to do, one way to do it is to join a tribe and then nudge that tribe forward. Okay, cool. How do I nudge it forward? So tomorrow we're going to look at Seth Godin telling us, well, here's how you nudge a tribe forward. And it's 4 pretty simple, straightforward steps. That's it, but that's for tomorrow.